Maritime injuries are anything that happens to somebody on or near the sea. So it could be a fisherman who gets injured during working at his job, or it could be a person who is just a passenger on a cruise ship and gets injured when they're on a vacation. A maritime injury could be something as simple as a passenger on a cruise ship slipping on the deck and being injured, or something as complex as two ships crashing in the night and possible drownings. In a maritime injury, it's always the owner of the ship that is responsible, and then behind the owner, the insurance company steps in and defends the lawsuit. There are many different types of compensation that a seaman or a person injured at sea can receive. The first and most important one is what's called maintenance and cure. So the insurance company for the owner of the vessel has to pay for the injured person's medical bills until they reach what's called maximum medical improvement. That has to happen right off the bat in every case, even if no one was at fault. Another type of compensation is what's called maintenance, which means that the insurance company for the vessel has to pay the injured person for their reasonable expenses, including rent or mortgage, food, utilities, and other necessary living expenses. As well as maintenance and cure, any lost wages or unearned wages, in other words, money that the person would have earned had they been able to complete the trip, and money that they would have earned had they not been injured and would have been able to fish or do some type of work in the future, is compensable. And lastly, probably the biggest area, which is pain and suffering for what the injured person has had to endure. If you are injured in a maritime accident, you should initially, right off the bat, talk to the captain and anybody else who is in charge of the ship, because they will do an incident report, which will help later when you're trying to prove that this actually happened. The second person you should talk to is a doctor to get treatment for what happened to you. And right after that, you should contact an experienced attorney. The statute of limitations is a legal deadline by which you have to either settle your case or file a lawsuit. So from the time you got hurt, you have 3 years to resolve your case or start a lawsuit, or else you are simply barred from any type of compensation. Initially, an experienced maritime attorney will get your maintenance and your cure. So in other words, all of your doctor's bills paid for by the insurance company for the owners of the vessel, and bi-weekly checks that pay you back for your rent or your mortgage and your food and utilities and other reasonable living expenses if you're no longer able to work. The other thing that an experienced maritime attorney can do for you is get you compensation for the time you've missed from work from the time the injury happened until the present, and also into the future if you still can't work into the future. And lastly, for pain and suffering, which is probably the biggest area of damages and the most important for people who have been injured either on fishing vessels or pleasure crafts or any type of boat or vessel out on the water.